All right, guys, last video, we finished this concrete, which is absolutely amazing. It feels awesome to be able to walk around. But the last thing my concrete guy said to me before he left was, our job's done. Now you get that building closed up, because we do not want ice and snow just building up and sitting on top of this pad. We want to keep it kind of out of the weather, but I do want to keep it wet. So we got a little rain this morning, which was awesome. I broomed all the water around just to kind of get a nice even sprinkle of water on this. So I am trying to keep water on, but we're going to dip into the teens, maybe single digits here real soon. And I need to get all this roof sheathing on. We need to get it covered up. So that's what this video is about. So let's get into it. All right, we've realized that this layout is going to require us to have some 4-footers. So we're just going to do a little pre-cut on the ground, and then we'll take this up and get it squared, get it started. Hopefully this doesn't pinch too bad like Greg thinks it will. Nice, dude. The way you pushed up on that is the only reason that worked, Greg.
I actually stopped pushing up because I knew it would be worse if I kept pushing.
Okay, whatever. Greg just checked. The one thing we want to do, because this is kind of like an independent building inside of the building, so we got to make sure that this post and the other corner of this building is plumb so that we can square it up. So we don't have a string line that can go from end of building to end of building, because we got those gable ends. It just wouldn't make much sense. So we've kind of got to independently square and straighten these 3 sections. And we've already got the other 2 done. This is our last section, and it will be, I think, quite easy once we're started. But I got to go up and get Greg a chain out there on that girder truss. So I'm going to be careful, and I'm going to climb my way out there. All right. Make sure that chain's off that floor, you know what I'm saying? That bucket needs to be off that floor. No, seriously, it'll show up.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just not worried about that currently.
I am.
Bucket and chain is off the floor.
Good.
Okay, yeah, we're a little bit heavy, but I need to go back, get the chain back the other way, and then that will
lock us in.
Lock us in. Easy on the floor. Don't want to ruin your floor.
Greg, you need to look at it like our floor. You're part of RR.
Our floor? RR floor?
It's RR floor. Okay, yeah, we're good.
We're good.
All right. Greg is in the middle of this bay, of this whole truss thing, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull it this way. Okay, there?
Yep.
All right, I'm 30 foot 1 5/8. 30 foot 3.
1 3/8.
I mean, if all things are right, yeah. So we go to the bottom, that's all screwed in there, and it'll just pull that peak over.
Like from here down there?
Not the bottom of the girder, top of the girder. I want to check that square again, and I'm going to check it off the bevel board at the post location, because that, I think, is more consistent, and then we can always move this way. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to go off the tail, because the tail could be shifted. The tail could be installed a little bit on an angle, and the reason that we know that there's a chance for that is because that tail is on a gusset plate on that girder, and this one we just kind of nailed to the top of that girder next to that post. And so if our tail is cocked one way or the other, and we're trying to square to the peak, we could be pulling the peak to square with the fascia, but the fascia could be wrong. So we're gonna recheck this one last time. I'm sure we have to move it a little bit, I see that, but we're gonna check it back to where the actual corner is defined and not movable, which is right here, where this is tying into our bevel board. So Greg, 28, 3 7/8, 28, 4 5/8. So we are about 3/4 of an inch. That ain't bad. So Greg, here's the question, big dog. Can we, without a chain, take a board back, stick it into that purlin right there, and push this peak? Okay, I'm gonna get a board. We're gonna try to do this a little bit smarter. Let's take this end and wedge it under that purlin, and if it sits right in here, we'll just move it and screw it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give ourselves a mark right here, okay? And then we're gonna give ourselves a 1/2 inch mark, like so. There, so we just move this peak over about a 1/2 inch. I think it'll be close. Let's double check. I'm 3 7/8 here, and I was 4 1/8 over there, so I wanna be about 28.4. So if I get 28.4 on my tape when Greg moves me, then we should be square, probably square enough to sheathe this. I'm not gonna chase a 16th, but I will chase an 1/8. And I think really the only reason I'm doing this is because when I go cut my valleys in up here, after this is sheathed, the squarer everything is, and straight and plumb and all that good stuff, it will make it easier to use math instead of just field measurements. I'll try to use some mathematic measurements. So now we're 28.4, which is, I think, what I want. So I'm just gonna run down here while he's getting his thing done up there. I'll double check it. Straightening and squaring is literally the most important thing for sheathing, I think, but it also takes the most time, of course. Yep, we're good, Greg, 28.4. So now that we have the square done, we're gonna go ahead and straighten these 3 trusses in the middle, which is going to be difficult because of the wind we have. So we might just have to kinda, dare I say, eyeball them? I don't know. Maybe a string and an eyeball. Definitely he's got some work to do. This middle looks like it's all gotta come out. Okay, that's good. But you can see here, this middle section's gotta come out. Looks like kind of all of them gotta come out, Greg. I'm actually going to leave my belt, I'm gonna climb down and I'm gonna leave this lift here so that you can check them, okay?
Yep. This is something I hate a lot.
What you doing there, big dog?
Good question. We're just kissing the square.
Okay, what do you got in the next one?
Let me eyeball it. My eyeball's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, we look pretty straight.
Okay.
If it looks straight, it is straight, right?
If it looks straight, it is straight. Wise man once told me. Yeah.
I'll have to hear
I'll
about
run with it. I'll run with it.
I'm hungry. Feels like it should be 1.
Huh? What'd you say? I couldn't hear you over my eye roll. All right, so Greg is gonna go ahead and we're gonna start right off of this center because we've got these lines on our purlins. We're just gonna go ahead and start right in the middle and we'll work our way to both sides. As we're starting to straighten this out, check this out. You see how my sheet is not lining up with the center of the fascia? When we first checked square, we went off the fascia and it was way long this way. And now you can see why, because this fascia is actually kind of tilted this way, and it all has to do with that tail going into that gusset, sticking out, and then forcing it on an angle. There, so that kind of worked this overhang back. Now we're gonna basically try to follow that line all the way up, and that'll be our first line. You could say, why don't you just snap a line? Well, because we're trying to straighten as we go. We're trying to straighten these trusses. We got all these girders that are not very straight. So we don't want to just sheath it. We want to try to do our best. You want to do this 6-footer so we can then move the magni pile, Greg, and get more comfortable?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Let's move that sucker. Okay, now we're good to go. Oh, man, that wind. Why can't I move it? Now that we're pushing and pulling, we need to make sure that we're fastened off pretty good. Otherwise, we're never going to move it. So go ahead, dude, and see what you got. Let it off a little here.
Uh-huh.
Now we should be developing a nice straight line if we did our job. Hopefully it's as straight as I hope it is. Always space your sheathing. Always space it because it will expand and contract, and you don't want it being super tight when it expands, and then it will kind of like volcano right up. We're gonna come right back to this stagger here. We'll be right here. So I don't want to put any nails there. I'm gonna hold off until I bring that next sheet up. But I will hit these.
Don't know how that fell out.
All right, now that we've got kind of ran up the middle, now we're just gonna fan out this way, we're gonna fan out that way, and where we have to tie our valleys in, we'll probably hold those sheets off so we're not getting in the way, but this will at least lock this area down, and then we can go to the other side. A lot of repetition now, we're just gonna bust this out. I'm out of nails. Dude, I did not even see them. Okay, so right here, this little board we put in here, because our fascia is gonna die, this will give us something to fasten to the roof, but we didn't wanna do any of this until this was sheathed through, and then we'll be able to start defining our valleys, which I still haven't. Greg, I'm gonna try to do. Should I do the math, or should we just field measure everything?
Field measure.
Just field measure?
Yeah.
How about this? Let's field measure one, and then I'll do math on one.
Yeah.
Like a little science experiment.
Sounds good to me.
It's like a dance up here, man. It goes from the install to the nail to the getting the next piece, you know, Greg, everybody's got a job to do. We got a little bit of trimming to do down at the bottom fascia. Those cutoffs will actually go right there. And then we'll cut that top off, and then this section is done, nailed off, and we go to the next section. Weatherman said we weren't going to have rain till 4 or 5 o'clock, and here we are about 1:30. Rain's coming down, and it's just not safe being up on the roof, so we're going to go ahead and call it for the day, but we'll be back in the morning to keep this sheathing going, so we'll see you then. You guys, our Magni died. We didn't follow the rules. We didn't turn it off at night, and there's so many electronics in there that we came out this morning and it wouldn't start, so we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way because it's a 24-volt battery system, and I don't have 2 batteries to pull unless I pull them out of my machines. But I called the rental company. I'm gonna see what they want me to do first before I jump into it, because they might have a way to hack it, but I don't have a 24-volt charger. So what we're gonna do is just load this up, get it in the scissor lift, and we're gonna try to sheathe this back side of this section of roof. We're now on to basically doing the areas that we need to build our valleys in order to finish. So we're gonna sheathe through, and then we're gonna go to this side. I'm hoping by the end of the day we've got all the sheathing done and we're ready to build our valleys, which will be the last big step on the roof. So I'm pretty excited. Boom, that's how you cut sheathing down the middle without pinching the blade. So we're gonna start in this corner so we can be a little bit careful and not have any frost. There was a little frost, but it looks like it's gone away now. And every sheet we put on will give us a nice, solid surface to work on. So I did do this, guys, this fascia overhang area off camera, but we got another one and I figured I'd show it to you then. I just kind of did it at the end of the night and didn't feel like filming it because I was lazy. Look at that, dude, that's beautiful. Right there, my finger. Fingers grow back, dude. Why would you nail that, Greg? What is your trick? I don't know what you're doing. Oh, wow, that was so cool. That was too much. All right, let's go to the next row. We're gonna start up here, Greg, and we're gonna go down and we're gonna leave that piece off, and then we're gonna go over and we're gonna do an 8 and a 4, okay? That's gonna leave that little valley piece there, and then we can just take all of our dimensions, cut it, and put it in.
Yeah, sure, yep, sounds good. How's it gonna work? Teamwork. Get your hands off of it.
I'm not doing anything, keeping it from going over. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just looking for something here. It'll be just fine, dude. 3/4. 33 3/4. Sure. You know, I mean, we do a little bit of field measurement here, but I like to try to take it back to the math and see what the math says. I haven't done all the math yet, so I'm going to tonight. Once we get this all sheathed, I'm gonna do all the math, try to get figured what all the angles are, what all my rafters should be, what my valley dimensions should be, so that I don't have to do it here up on the roof. I can just kind of have like the math, lay it out, and then we do some field measuring to confirm that it looks good, because at the end of the day, you know, math is gonna be right if I do it right, but that doesn't mean that I built it perfect for the math. So that's the goal. And it usually gets pretty close. And it's always good to just use it as a checking point. End of the day, we're just gonna probably string some strings, set a ridge board, snap some lines, and just cut things to fit. But I wanna double check it with math.
All by myself. Ugh.
You don't have to be all by yourself, buddy.
Is this snack time yet? I'm hungry. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, I got this. You can step on it. Whoa!
I trust. Not cool, bro. And then we're gonna be
15 over.
So there's that, there's that. Yep, yeah, it's about 20. I'll only be in pain if this thing doesn't fit, you know? I don't care about that. Got it. All right, if you're a religious person, now's the time to pray. Make sure this fits, huh? What do you think? What's your bet?
What's my bet?
Yeah, what's your chances? What's your chances?
It'll fit.
Okay. I like your optimism. It didn't fit, dude. You know what I'm saying?
I would rather you not stare into my eyes while you're cutting. Sure.
Yeah, whatever. It's good enough. It's not perfect, but it'll do. All right, so this is the area that we did the other day. We just sheathed over, but I wanted to show you kind of what I'm gonna do here to make this all work. So I've got to frame in an overhang. My end fascia here is just kind of ran wild, and then we have a little bit of framing to do in here as well. So what I know is that my overhang is a 2-foot overhang, and the sub fascia is, the back of it's at 22.5. So I'm just gonna come up here kind of where one of these trusses is, and I'm gonna mark 22.5. And the reason I can do this is because this sheathing line is the same as the outside right here. So what I can do is make another mark at 22.5. All right, and when I snap this, it'll be the back of my sub fascia, and it will give me an idea exactly where to place it on the roof. Let's see, so we're just gonna come up here. I know this is probably way further than I need. Yeah, this is the one corner that we forgot to put framing underneath here, so I'm gonna have to get under there and add some framing. But now what I can do is take my level, and if I put it on this line, all things being perfect, I should be able to plumb this up. That is now the back cut of this guy here. And then when I cut this board and level it, it'll land right in here somewhere. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut this bad boy. I put the boom lift under me just to be a little bit safer, but Fall protection has its place. Sometimes it's just more of a nuisance. If you can still be kind of protected here, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. So what I can do here, or what I'm trying to do, is I'm gonna have a piece of framing that's gonna go right here. And this will be like my last, basically it's like our bevel board on the end of our post, but here it's gonna be just my last piece of framing before my fascia. So I need something to fill in here. So if I take this, and as long as I'm perpendicular with my roof, I can find out where this hits right here. So that point is where this valley is gonna end up coming up. So that is how far I want my piece of framing to go. And I'm sure there is math for this. I don't know it though, to be honest. I don't know, I'd have to really think about, well, actually it's not that bad. 28-inch 1/2 rise, 4-inch pitch, 90 1/8 inch. 90 1/8 is right here, which is about an inch higher than I thought it was gonna be. So what that means is something here is off just slightly. So right there, oh no, I guess that would be right here. No, that does make sense. Okay, because I'm measuring in here, this line right here, not way out here at the 1.5 inches. So yeah, look at that. There's my 90 1/8. That's where my level hits. So we're really freaking close. The problem is I'm actually out here another 1.5 inches in this roof plane. So that's why I'm lower, not way out here. I hope that makes sense. So as I go down the roof, it will continually come out further, and that's my valley line. That would, in essence, if I connected the 90 1/8 to my line I initially made, that's gonna be the intersection of our valley right there. And I'm more interested in being good off of this one.
Okay, well, now you need to come up a little bit.
Wait. That. Okay.
I would say right there looks pretty good.
Okay, hold that, because we'll make that work, and then this outside is probably just sagging because it's 4 feet there. Good thing is we got this 2x purlin right here. So now this line, this is our fascia line, because we got a structural purlin right here. But we need to get some more framing underneath this guy. Absolutely love it. Okay, so that's our fascia. So now that we have our fascia defined, it's all level, it's in the right dimension. Now we just need to get some framing right in here. So I'm doing this here just for a little bit of additional like squash blocking, because this is where that framing is gonna tie in. So this will just give me something solid between the truss and the sheathing. All right, so we got our bevel board. I've already cut the 5/12 pitch bevel. 85 3/8. Now that might be a hair long, but I'm gonna cut it there first. Okay, so 85 3/8. And then this is going to be a 4/12 pitch cut. So what I have to do, we're gonna flip this over. So this is my mark right here, 12 inches and 4 inches down. Okay, so if we did this right, this should be close to being flush with Greg's top over there. And then here, if I take my level, this should all start to plane in, see?
Wow, you're pretty good at this.
So now, since we got that little squash block down there, and this is all just gonna be getting weight put on it, we're gonna take this. So now we've kind of filled this area in. We've got one more block to do here, and then this will be almost ready for sheathing. We do need to get a board here, which I think we've got that right here, which was 52 degrees. I don't think that was the right angle exactly. We're gonna redo that. A little bit more angle here. Now what I'm doing is just looking for where this corner is basically gonna hit, and that just needs to go up a little bit more. I don't like this at all. I feel like I could have done this a lot better. Yeah, hit that, dude. Hit that right there. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Good Lord, why did that take so long? When you know this line, what's the offset? Is it just 1.5 inches at a 5/12? 1 inch, 1/2, rise, 3 5/8. That ain't right.
But then do you also have to then factor in the 412 going up the hill?
That's what I'm saying. You guys, somebody tell me, what is the formula for this? There has to be a great way to figure it out other than just running a level, which, you know, it works. Like, that obviously works just fine, and this will be just a beautiful valley. But I want to be able to know, I think I just had my epiphany. Pop this line for me. Okay. If I were to be straight into this moment here, that is my 3 5/8. We have to be on a flat plane. I can't be going up the hill.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I'm in line, does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
That would make sense. See the way we came through with that? All right, this is all ready for sheathing. We're gonna go grab a bite to eat. We'll get back and we'll get this all covered up.
We got one more thing to put on.
What?
We gotta put on this board.
Oh yeah, okay. We got another board to put on. So there you go, guys. This is now a nice little framed area, post frame style. It's just a bunch of like hacking. You know, you're just kind of measuring, cutting, and just making sure things are plumb and square, and then we'll cover it with sheathing, and you guys will be the only ones that know what we did here.
Got some nails set for me?
No.
Oh.
You're a man, you can handle it. And this is 82 7/8.
Pop, pop. Those pruning blades work great, don't they?
Yes, the Diablo pruning blade, 9-inch, cuts fast, carbide tipped, fast cut through clean wood. So you don't want to use it on nail embedded wood. Let's just take it up and let's just shave this off. Ugh. Watch your fingers. Hold that.
You want to bump it against the nail?
No, I don't. .61 7/8. About 35 3/4-ish. I'm just looking for close, not looking for perfect. Well, I'm looking for perfect, but I'm hoping it's close. 61 7/8. I hate caring about precision. 22 7/8. 84 3/4. 84 3/4. 20 7/8. This should be 35 3/4 about right here to right there.
How do we do?
I'm so scared. Are we okay?
Looks like we're good up top. Looks like we're good along that line.
Just maybe a little off right here.
A little off right there. But
we're such hacks, dude.
Actually, that's probably just the angle of the cut.
Yeah. Can I get that? This is like the most important part to the Weatherlogic system, because once the panel's down, the panel's protected, but all these joints have to be protected. So what we're doing is laying down the Weatherlogic tape, and then we're squeegeeing it. I know, you know, there's other companies that do roll the tape, like the green Huber board, and you can roll it, but here's what I'm gonna tell you. I've done rolling the tape. That's only good if your panels are perfectly flat, which I can promise you. I've done a lot of different products, even the green and brown Huber board. They're never exactly, in fact, this one I'm working on right now, this joint, they're never exactly the same. So when you roll the tape and you're coming across this joint, you can't necessarily get into the low side of an imperfection. With a squeegee, I'm able to kind of work it to the edge, and that is called wetting the edge. So you're pulling the adhesive out to the edge where you want it. Just rolling it, it's fine if you're on a perfectly flat surface, but when you have two joints and you might have a difference in thickness or smoothness or whatever, I like using the squeegee because I can get on the low side and work it out from both sides, wetting the edge. So we got a lot of tape to do. We'll hit all the horizontals first, the ones that are flat, and then we'll come over top of them with the verticals top to bottom. This is like our weather system. So think about a felt paper or something on a roof that's going to protect your OSB or a synthetic roofing felt. We don't have to worry about that because this will just shed the water now when this is done and keep our building nice and dry.